solo champion, unless you really know you're going to accomplish something, if you're going to get a kill, if you're going to get dragon, if you're going to push a tower. But Karthus in particular needs to farm, so he really should have sat in lane. Anivia did do a good job pushing up to the tower. We'll come top, which is okay, not going to miss a lot of CS, but really you want to stay in lane and farm. Garen did back up, so Garen does have it warded. So Anivia's just kind of, wandering around. I'm not sure what Anivia expected to accomplish there. There's not really much of a hope, and Anivia actually is being chased by these minions, so kind of careless. Anivia did miss out on a lot of creeps, but Amumu with the ult gets Karthus stuck under the tower. Karthus is chasing down Amumu though. He will have the ultimate. Gangplank throws off the ultimate. Karthus does have his ultimate up, will get to a safe distance, and then throw down the ultimate onto Amumu. Is Amumu going to go down? It's going to be close. Amumu just barely surviving. 20 HP is what he went down to. But again, Amumu doing an excellent job there, getting some damage off on Karthus, almost dying. Garen throwing down the damage onto Akali, chasing down under the tower, throws off the ultimate, but Akali is able to live. You see Akali going for that Gunblade, that really aggressive item, maybe looking for some kills as the game progresses. Probably won't get him against Garen, but maybe some other people, especially the squishies of Soraka and Caitlyn. Though Soraka's heals will really work to counter out that burst, unless they are able to pick up someone as a team with disables. But, Anivia missing out on CS mid, missed a full 2 waves while Karthus was pushing, while Anivia went top, thinking that they could get a gank onto Garen, but, I'm not sure that there was really any hope for that at all, and Dragon did actually just spawn. You see Gangplank throwing down a ward. They're actually doing Dragon right now. Karthus and Gangplank will kill it very fast. Karthus can just throw out that dot. They already have Dragon. It's basically over. Caitlyn and Soraka are holding them off. You see the dots coming off from Karthus. It should be down any second now. Amumu might bandage toss in. Amumu tries to bandage toss in. Get that dragon, but they do. Purple is able to pick up the dragon again. So once again, furthering their advantage. And that's really just something that's great to have. When you have a solo champion that is effective for dragon control, Amumu isn't a strong dragoner. So, they already know they're at that advantage because they have a DPS jungler such as Gangplank versus an Amumu. Amumu takes a lot of damage when he goes after Dragon. Akali throwing down some damage, does have that regen, so as long as Akali kind of throws off intermittent damage onto Garen to prevent that passive, but Garen throwing down the silence and the judgment, chasing after Akali, they will be okay, just kind of throwing damage back and forth. But the one thing Garen really wants to do in this lane is sit back for a second, let the passive regen him up. But in the meantime, Akali's going to be doing the same thing, attacking the creeps to get that regen. As we take a look at items and CS again, and Garen is able to pick up the kill onto Akali very aggressively with that Gangplank, just bursting her down. But again, looking at the creep score, we see Garen is actually not farming at all. That is very surprising. Even though Garen, you think of Garen as a champion that doesn't really need items, he does damage effectively without items. He has nice base damage. Any champion, you need items, and Garen has Ninja Tabby and Brutalizer, so he will have damage with that Brutalizer, but Gangplank coming in, uses his Raise Morale, he will hit the pistol onto Anivia, slowing her down. The Flash Frost goes onto Gangplank, but he does use the Cleanse, and Gangplank going to take a lot of damage underneath that tower. The Ignite goes off from Anivia. I'm not sure that it was really necessary, but wanted to really just force him out of there, dissuade him from chasing any further. Anivia still being very aggressive. The wall from Karthus does go off. Anivia throws his wall off, but does miss. The Flash Frost does hit Karthus, and then Akali is going to get this kill. Karthus also missed the flash, trying to use the flash. The flash will be down. He wouldn't have lived anyway, because Amumu was up there positioned to take him down, and they will try and push down top tower. Someone does need to go top, missing out some farm, and Garen will get some damage on that tower. But bot is probably going to go down soon. Tristana and Janna have definitely seemed to have a control of this lane. You will see it is at about 1,000 damage. Looking at items, fairly evenly farmed game. You see that Karthus and Anivia are pretty even. Tristana does have an advantage over Caitlyn. And a little bit of exchange between Amumu and Gangplank. Amumu, he is in the middle of his jungle. Gangplank was already going to back and does have that Vamp Scepter, or the Wriggles, so he will be at a little bit of an advantage taking that damage, because Amumu now is going to get a little bit low from jungling. But, fairly strong item builds all around. Anivia seems to be going for a Rod of Ages, so definitely a heavy mana build. Hopefully not picking up an Archangel Step. I'm going to assume it's a Rod of Ages. Janna does have the 2 gold with 5s, as does Soraka. Gangplank actually going for a really aggressive tank build. Might be Warmogs into an Atmas, or it might be a Frozen Mallet. Already has the slow and will likely have the red buff, but the slows do stack. Though I would assume that is a Warmog's Gangplank build. Pretty, honestly pretty evenly farmed, though Gangplank Garen is definitely behind. He has not really been accomplishing his job top. Akali has been farming effectively and gets another kill onto Garen very quickly. Akali has been farming effectively and Garen hasn't. So a lane that Garen should win, and Akali is winning it in all facets. Gangplank coming up onto Karthus or Anivia. There he is, throwing out the wall for the vision. Gets the stun. Will get some damage onto Gangplank. He will be okay. He will be heal up rather quickly. Their blue should be spawning in the next minute, so they will want to get that blue onto Anivia. Really allow her to kind of sustain damage. But so far, pretty even game. But I think that the damage output from Tristana, and slightly ahead in farm, could have a major impact in this game. And really, I think the #1 thing for this game is the farm that Akali has been able to receive as opposed to Garen. And we already talked about how, with the disables, Garen will have a difficult time of getting in on the enemy team. Akali has no such issues. She can just blink in. And as the fights progress, Akali will be able to almost insta-kill Karthus. Gangplank is coming out. Akali does see her, throwing off some harass onto Garen, but does need to get out of there. The Ignite and the ultimate going down from Garen, and Akali will most certainly die. The ultimate and the pistol from Gangplank. Akali does flash, but Gangplank and Garen are able to get the kill, tower diving for a little bit. And actually, I believe that Dragon is going to spawn in the next minute. The last Dragon was at 14 minutes. They did get it around 14:30, so they know that it'll be up in the next, 30 seconds. And Tristana with red buff is really fantastic. Caitlyn does have higher damage right now, but chasing down the Soraka, trying to get that damage. The flash thrust from Anivia is able to pick up the kill, but Anivia is going to go down. Hopefully Tristana can kind of help her out while she's in egg form, and the pounce onto Gangplank. Caitlyn's doing a lot of damage to Tristana. One more hit, the Karthus ult will be able to take down the shield. No, just barely dying. Did have that shield for protection, but level 11 Karthus does do a ton of damage. Karthus is 14, so almost up to 16, and there is the dragon. It is just spawning, but unfortunately blue team will not be in position to get dragon. They will have to heal. So once again, it's probably going to be a dragon for purple. Akali will come down and so will Amumu, so they do need to watch out for the burst of Akali. It will be particularly effective against both Gangplank and Karthus. And if Amumu ults, they could be in a tough situation. He doesn't have his ultimate, and who gets the dragon? It was actually blue team was able to pick up that dragon. Karthus is taking a ton of damage from Akali. So Akali did go down, but fortunately Amumu with the bandage toss and the smite was able to get that dragon. So definitely even for them. They are a little bit concerned that Karthus is too fed, and I definitely think that is an issue. You really don't want to be giving Karthus that much damage, but Akali should be able to kill Karthus in fights. The only issue is then they're going to be still fighting on top of Karthus, and Karthus is still going to be doing tons of damage with that passive. Finally getting a dragon, Amumu says, and they really needed it. They were falling behind, and if that dragon had gone to purple, that, would have been so much team gold. Tristana with the pounce and the ultimate onto Soraka will have to pounce out, does have the pounce once again. Caitlyn chasing down Janna. The ultimate from Janna was able to save Soraka, so you can really see they do have some great coordination between this Tristana and this Janna combo. They've really been doing a number on bottom. Karthus will be getting blue. Anivia does have their blue. So, both of them will be fine for mana, dishing out a ton of damage. Karthus definitely has significantly more damage for her team, as well as the reduced magic resistance and armor with the wall. But Anivia does have the benefit of the disables, and they do have a high damage team already with Akali and Tristana, whereas Purple is really, it's Karthus, Gangplank, and Caitlyn, and that's all of their damage. Garen has a little bit of damage, but he really hasn't been farming at all, and his damage shouldn't be that effective in these fights. But we'll see if they can get a good engage on them. It will definitely be, to either team's advantage. So you will want to see good ward coverage. Definitely want to start getting a ward over on Baron, because Karthus is one of the strongest Baroners in the game, especially for a solo champion. So Garen should be able to tank the jump from Tristana, getting the damage onto Caitlyn and the slow. Caitlyn does flash out, the bandage toss just missing from Amumu. But as I said, if Garen comes over and tanks along with Gangplank, then Karthus can just throw those dots and throw down his damage and get a lot of damage on the Baron, but they're chasing down Amumu. The Whirlwind comes out from Janna trying to save him, and Amumu flashes out, but Akali's going to come in, pick up this kill with Tristana onto Soraka very quickly. Soraka will go down. Soraka taking forever to go down, all those heals, and Akali actually does die to Karthus in the meantime. The heals, again, as I said earlier, I thought they might be effective in countering the burst, but I didn't think they'd be that effective. I mean, it really looked like for a long time that Soraka was going to go down. And if they can't kill people with Soraka's heals, like, I'm not saying Soraka's going to use it on herself every time, but if they can't kill people, and Karthus is able to just keep on throwing out that damage, it really is going to be dangerous for Blue Team. The game is pretty even. Purple does have a slight advantage. Karthus is farmed, but Tristana doing fairly well for herself. Akali does have a number of deaths, unfortunately, being very aggressive for those kills. But Akali definitely has the damage output as this game progresses. You did see they are actually coming up to Baron. As I said earlier, Gangplank and Karthus, I didn't see if anyone else was with them. And Tristana and Caitlyn down bot, I didn't even see Tristana's, token. That was a little surprising. I was looking, I assumed Caitlyn was just farming down bot. Anivia trying to get in